Welcome to Scouting at Home for Cub Scouts. My name's Koala and today we're going to learn how to sew on a button. A Scout cares for the environment and part of that means repairing something wherever possible rather than throwing it out. So if you learn how to sew on a button, next time one falls off your shirt or pants, you'll be able to repair it rather than needing to throw them out. Now remember to get adult supervision because needles are quite sharp. Alright, so today we're going to be sewing on a button. I've got a blue piece of felt, I've got a button and I've got a needle and a thread. I'm using a really thick embroidery thread just so you can see, but the process is exactly the same for sewing on any button on any fabric. So first make sure you thread your needle. You can get little threaders to help you with this or just moisten the end and press it down to make sure it goes through the eye of the needle. Now the first thing that we're going to do is tie a knot in the end. Just a little granny knot by making a loop and then bringing the end up through the middle, and then we have our little knot in the end of the string. So work out where on your material your button needs to be positioned. Grab your needle and just poke it through from the back of your fabric, pull it through the front until it's stopped by that knot that we tied in the end. Now grab your button and very carefully put the needle through one of the holes and pull it through. Now the button I'm using has 4 holes, which means we can either do a crisscross pattern or 2 straight lines. Today we're going to do a crisscross pattern. So we're going to take our needle and go back down the hole that's opposite the one we just came up through. And then we're just going to pull it through like that. Now we're going to come up from the back and you'll just need to wiggle it around till the needle comes up through one of the 2 holes that we haven't used yet. There we go. And again, just pull it through and then back down the opposite hole. Now you want to do this a number of times depending on how thick your thread is. I'm probably only going to do it a couple of times because I'm using a really thick thread, but I think at least 3 times should work. So I've now done my crisscross a couple of times and you can see that my string is coming out the back of my piece of fabric. So when you have a button, you want it to be slightly raised off your fabric so that the other side that's going to loop around it has space and it's not going to stress the string that you're using. So what we do is we wrap it around a few times just to give it a bit of height. So you still want to start at the back and you want to put your needle through, but instead of coming up through one of the holes in the button, you want to come out beside the button like that. So pull it through. And then you just wrap the thread around the button 3 or 4 times. And that gives it a little bit of height off the fabric. Then when you're done, simply poke it back through to the other side. Now we need to lock off what we're doing. So what we're going to do is use the existing stitch that's already in the back, and we're just going to carefully put our needle under that stitch. Then we're going to take this loop of thread and we're going to put it around the needle, and then we're going to pull it through. And we're going to do that 2 or 3 times. So take an existing little stitch, loop around the end and pull it through. And what we're doing is actually creating little knots. So do that 2 or 3 times and we're all locked off. Then you can take your scissors and trim the ends. And we've got our button nice and securely fastened. So now you can put a button on shirts or pants or anything that a button falls off. You can just fix it and put it straight back on. So next time a button pops off, you'll know what to do. See you next time. Good hunting, pack.